We got a Garces segment, so BG's in the house with his Garces gear on. If we had if you send us your gear from other schools, we can do this regularly.
Actually, I was thinking about it. It would probably be a good idea every time whoever's showcased on the show that week. BG
we'll dress
will wear,
BG up that way.
We'll dress BG that way.
We just got to get some swag from everybody. That's all.
Remember, we got Big Soul Christian on here too.
But that was the Mission Bowl there, and that was sort of these guys' coming out party, if you will, for Garces last year. Obviously, a tough year. Actually, 2 tough years in a row, going back to 2014.
We don't talk about that.
And this year, 3-1. Just context. Context.
Kidding.
3-1 could be 4-0. I think very easily close loss to Arroyo Grande, but really took it to Bakersfield Christian, Tehachapi, San Joaquin Memorial. Good teams that are in the playoffs every single year. And now things get really tough. And this is Coach AJ Gass. You have 6 Division I teams in 6 weeks coming up here. Yep. The kind of test I think you like as a coach, and maybe part of you dreads also.
Well, no, it's what we like. It's what we test ourselves week in and week out. Our schedule leading up to this point has given us a barometer of where we're at, and now it's for real. I think that Edison is very talented. They have a lot of weapons and a lot of size up front. So this is our last practice game before real league starts, and then we're getting after it.
Edison is 0-4, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Don't let that deceive you, because they are one of the better teams in the section, especially given that record. So they've played very good teams and played them close. They just haven't come out on top yet. So you have to hope you're not the one they break through against, that they get it together against. Cam Roberson in the middle here, welcome, and tell us, you are part of sort of this just speedy group you guys have. It's all over the field. How much fun has it been to play on this team these first 5 weeks?
A lot of fun. It's a lot of fun when you have a quarterback that can throw the ball 60 yards and can run a 4 or 5. And it's fun to have Christopher Coleman and LeBrevin Austin and my brother Jason Roberson. I just think our speed is an advantage to us throughout the weeks. I just think it's hard for other teams to match up with us.
And Connor, you're probably at the center of all
funny,
that.
Though? Hold on. You know what's really funny about that is he talked about 4 other guys that are fast, and he still missed 2 guys.
Yeah, exactly.
And Isaiah Martin and Scott Boylan.
Oh,
and that just shows you how fast.
Those guys, yeah.
It just shows you how incredibly fast this team is.
Well, and it's not just the speed; it's the depth of speed, and it's everywhere on the field. And Connor, like I said, you were at the center of that. I think everybody knew how fast you were. Track season makes it pretty obvious how fast somebody is, but your game as a quarterback, I think, has progressed. How has that happened for you from last year to this year? What are you so much better at?
I think it's just the fact that everybody trusts each other 100%. So, I mean, last year I had a lack of trust for the guys around me, and I think they had a lack of trust for me. So the fact that we developed off-season to become closer made me believe that my line would have my back and I could throw the ball up and trust my wide receiver to get it. So,
and that has to help your patience, too, to where you're not just, I'm going to bail and run here because I know I can run, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's the type of thing where, I mean, I know these guys are going to do everything they can to prevent me from getting tackled. And so, I mean, that just gives me the faith to stay in the pocket and deliver ball.
Yeah, and obviously, AJ, the less he gets hit, the better off you're going to be.
Ideally, he never gets touched.
Right.
And, he's done a pretty good job this year of protecting himself. But, he's done a great job of breaking tackles and gaining extra yards. So, very fortunate to have him, pretty fresh at this point in the year.
AJ, I kind of want to go back to I think what Connor was talking about, where last year there was a lack of trust across the board. For you as a head coach, you come in, you guys stumble through a lot of things last year. Talk to us about, where that all started. Did it start in January? Was there something during the season last year where it all changed and you knew that once the season was over that it just progressed into what it is now?
Well, I think the buy-in that the kids had right away was just from there being a positive change. The way we stayed after it continuously through the off season together as a group is really what's given them their bond. It's been a long process. Even though we've had guys jump on board right away, the trust takes a minute. And Connor being out the year before with a knee injury, physically he had a lot of trust issues with getting hit and am I 100%. And like I said, after my first knee, I told him it took me a year and a half before I felt confident again. And I think that's where we're at right now.
Cam, after you go through a tough year like last year, you always hope things are going to be different. And people always say the right things. This year's going to be different, will be better. When did you know that this year was going to be different? Without a doubt.
honestly, I'm going to be truthful. I think when everyone finally bought in, it took a while. Coach Gass stressed that 70% have bought in, 30% didn't. And it was like that for a while. But I think at the beginning of summer, spring ball, everyone started to buy in. And then I think the beginning of summer, everyone kicked in and bought into everything we're trying to do.
It just seems like, Connor, the expectations changed for you guys before they changed for us and for everybody else. I mean, we kind of looked at your roster on our end and said, they should be better. We'll see. But it seemed like the expectations were sky high for you guys from summer on, like Cam was saying.
Yeah, definitely. Our expectations, we always strive as far as we could reach. We actually strive farther, but it's been probably like the worst feeling I've ever felt the last 2 years, knowing that, the community as a whole lost their love for football, and for Garces at least. And so we've strived to push each other as hard as we possibly can just to bring that back for our community, and just to bring that love back in our school.
Yeah, I think it's back. I think at least right now it's back. As we all know, in the coaching world, things can change in about 2 weeks. So,
Yes, they do.
Let's hone in on Edison for a minute. They're 0-4. As I was saying during the break, if you look at Cal Preps or Max Preps computer rankings, they're the second best winless team in the state behind San Mateo Serra, and they're not that far behind San Mateo Serra. So,
and you're talking about two teams that have been historically good over the last 10 years as well in those two programs.
And Edison is, of course, 2 years removed from winning a Division I Valley title, and so you're looking at a very good program. Matt Johnson, the coach, I talked to him on Nick Papagni's show a couple of weeks ago, and he had very good things to say about you guys as well. What level of respect do you have for the program, and in what way, Coach, does it maybe worry you that they're 0-4 because you have to preach, don't pay attention to that, to your guys?
Yeah, you never want to take a team for what their record shows. A lot of times, records can be deceiving.
Mm-hmm.
What we do is we watch our opponents on film. We understand what they're doing schematically, and then we see who on their team can execute. And they got a lot of guys. They've just come up short. I think turnovers have hurt them, and that's something they can fix very easily. When you got 300-pound tackles, you're going to be able to move the ball as well. So, they have all the pieces in place. The fact that it hasn't come together for them just yet, that's the thing. That's the thing that makes me most nervous, is because they're going to come out and play desperate. And
right.
when teams are desperate, they tend to play at a higher level. So we got to match their intensity from the get-go, and then just wear them down by the fourth quarter.
They played Brophy College Prep out of Phoenix, which is one of the best, probably 100 teams in the country. Then they played a team out of Reno, and I'm blanking on the name.
El Diamante
out of Reno, which honestly,
Diamante Ranch, that's it.
If you look at it objectively, is probably their worst loss, I think. But think of the travel; they had to go down to Ventura to play Brophy Prep, then back to Fresno, then over to Reno
but Diamante
on a
Ranch
short week.
Really is kind of
and they're not a bad team.
Top team in Reno.
I'm not saying they're a bad team. I'm just saying that says a lot that's their worst loss on paper. And then they come back and they lose by 6 points each to Clovis West and to Bullard. So this is Clovis West and
Clovis North.
Clovis North, yeah.
West, yep.
Yeah, and so you're looking at a terrific team that could still do damage as we go forward. Guys, from your perspective, and I don't know how much you even pay attention to the schedule until the week comes, but Cam, what do you know about Edison, and how has your perspective on him changed in the last few days as you look at film and those things?
Edison's fast. Edison's fast. They have a lot of playmakers, and I think their line's going to play to their strength. But I've kind of had the same perspective on Edison ever since I saw them on our schedule. They're a very fast team, and they've been fast for the past few years.
Connor, how about you from their defense? What do you see?
Well, defensively, they tend to go cover zero. They'll blitz 6 or 7.
Wow.
So if they match us up in man coverage, I like that matchup. I just got to stay in the pocket, get hit, and deliver a perfect ball for them. But if they go man coverage on us, I really like that matchup, because I trust my guys over them.
Cover zero, clearly very aggressive, and they want to make some big plays, but they're going to give you the opportunity to make those big plays as well.
We just got to capitalize on that.
And so anyway, if I can break a coach's rule, Coach, I just want to look forward 1 week to SWIL play real quick. How excited are you guys, Connor, start with you, to match up with these D1 teams that they've kind of been beating you up the last couple of years, and now it might be a chance for a little revenge if you look at it the way things are lining up.
Yeah, definitely. I guess you could say revenge is the word, but it's more or less just proving what we're all about, and we haven't had the chance to the last 2 years. Lack of talent or whatnot, but this year I really think we could really be a force in this league, and if not, make it all end up winning league or getting close. So I think it's going to be a good year for
Yeah,
the league.
revenge, one word, redemption, maybe the better word is
redemption.
that you want that you want to prove that
Definitely.
you can play at that level too, right, Cam?
Yeah, redemption's probably the best word to use. Especially these past 2 years have been kind of rough for us, especially in the league. I remember my sophomore year going to BHS with Bruce and Lamicio Hill, 50-0, and then play Centennial, 40-some to 13, whatever. But I think we played them tougher last year, but I think this year we've taken the extra step and we can actually win.
Moving from competing to winning is a big step
Yeah.
too. That's
Yeah.
true. Now, you kind of laughed when you said the last 2 years were bad, AJ. But I think from the moment you moved into town, I really felt like you had a vision for this program, and I don't know that you're all the way there, but you've gotten at least part of the way there in a pretty short period of time. How has that happened, and is this on your timeline? I mean, are you guys on schedule as far as where you thought you'd be?
Well, I actually think we're ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't anticipate the development of these guys to be so fast. When I got here, physically, I felt that we were years behind everybody else. We've caught up in a big way and a little bit faster than I anticipated, and we're seeing the product of that on Friday nights. You know, we're strong, we're fast, we're aggressive, and right now it's all coming together for offense and defense. So head of schedule, still on track, but you know the proof's in the pudding, and we got to show up every Friday night.
Well, and that's the crazy thing about it is, you know, over the last 2+ years since I've been here, I mean, Liberty is always, you know, I think over the last 2 years they've had the chance to really kind of have explosive offense when it was Jordan Love to Braylon Scott or it was Quincy Johnny running. BHS, I think that, you know, we saw that before with Asani, and I think we saw that at points when they played Ventura and Bear Creek, with like Shane Jones has a chance to go long, and then Ridgeview obviously has been historically good because they've had so many players. When you look at explosive offense this year, I think we're talking about the Rams right now, because when you look at all the scoring drives they have over 50 yards, it's actually really fun when I'm sitting up there and you've got Garza's dad's an alum, you know, making, you know, friendly wagers on how many drives, how many plays this drive is going to be until they score. And it's not like, oh, are they going to score on this drive? It's like, okay, how many plays until they score? And one dad's like 2 plays, and then it was the next play. It was like, I was wrong. And it's like, I mean, it's fun to watch this football team. It really is.
Yeah, the tempo is a big part of it,
Yeah.
and I think you guys are a fun team to watch. And I asked Cam you that question, Connor. It's fun to play with a team like that that's going to push the tempo and take chances and make big plays.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, playing the game is another, but while playing it and witnessing what's actually happened is just a whole nother level of it. And you know, having the possibility to score every time we have the ball in our hands is a great thing. Knowing I could toss him a screen and he could run it 58 yards without, getting touched is a good
Saw
thing.
it.
So.
Cam, last word. We got to go to another break, but is this team? How about your expectations? You said you suffered through some bad years. Are you exceeding your own expectations right now as a team?
Yes. I knew we were going to compete, but I didn't know we were going to win as easy. Not easily. That's a bad word to use. I didn't know we were going to
Convincingly.
Yeah, convincingly. That's
There
a
you
better
go.
word.
Very good.
I didn't know that we were going to be where we're at right now. Going into Edison, I think it's going to be a great game, and I think Speed's going to match up well.
Yeah, that should be a very fun game to watch. And actually, the guy we're talking to next here, I believe, is covering that game for the Fresno Bee. That's Andy Bogart, and he's going to send us the story as well. So we'll have Andy Bogart up next. And AJ, you probably remember Andy from your days at Fresno State.
Yeah, absolutely. He covered me when I was at Fresno
He'd been around
State.
a long time.
That's
Yeah,
right.
so that's
Very nice.
yeah. We'll talk to Andy about that too. Hey guys, Connor Bruce, Cam Roberson, AJ Gass, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck on Friday
Thanks for
night.
having us.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having
All right,
us.
we'll be back on BVarsity Live. Andy Bogart over the phone up next.
Oh, I thought it was here.